Nobody knows what to do with one of these.
Hey, nice pumpkin. So today in between the eats,
We're roasting squash.
one of the sweetest vegetables is roasted squash.
It's one of my favorites, very underrated.
It is. It's like no one knows what to do with it, and once you try it, you'll just love it. So one of my favorite things to do is to stuff it with other vegetables, and we're gonna top it with Beamster XO aged Gouda.
And we have an acorn squash here today.
Yes, acorn squash. So we're gonna cut it in half, put it in a pan to roast it. Well, maybe. Did you eat your Wheaties this morning, David?
They're tough. There we go.
Yikes. So we're gonna scoop out the seeds. They look just like pumpkin seeds, huh?
Sorry. Well, it's the same family. Pumpkin. It's a squash.
A pumpkin is a squash?
Yeah.
So now we're gonna move the squash into a pan and put some water in it to roast it. So we're gonna put it 350 for about, what, 40 minutes or so?
40 minutes to an hour, yeah.
So I'm gonna put some water down.
And that just helps steam it in the oven. That's why you're putting the water in, just to keep steam help it cook a little quicker.
Now, could you put like flavors in there?
Sure, if you want. Of course, yeah, aromatics, spices, if you wanted to do that, depending on what flavor you're going for.
Oh, good. Not today.
Not today.
We're gonna use water.
No.
So our squash is nice and roasted.
About an hour, right? It's nice and
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna put some garlic, onions, carrots, kale, roasted tomatoes into our filling for the squash. So the first thing I wanna do is put a little oil in our pan.
Right.
Now you're like, Terry, that's tomatoes. What are you doing?
I'm on. I know what you're doing.
David actually roasted tomatoes for us for this dish. I usually pick up the jar in one of my favorite specialty stores, and I thought, no, I'm just gonna ask him for roasted tomatoes. So he roasted them, but he also roasted garlic. So this oil that the tomatoes are in is roasted garlic oil. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour a little bit of this oil in our pan to get started. Without...
There you go. That's plenty.
There we go. All right. This is gonna be our base. We're gonna put in our carrots, garlic. There we go. Now I'm gonna scoop out the squash and put the squash in it.
See, that's the fun part of this dish is we're putting the squash back in the squash. It's not just other vegetables, it's the squash as well.
It's so good.
It is very good.
We talked about, you know, sometimes people not knowing what to do with it. And it was actually funny because my lawyer sent me an email yesterday morning with a picture of a squash and said, what do I do with this? And I texted David and I said, same as what we're used to, right? You know, roasting it. And he said, oh yeah, same thing, that's a squash. I forget what color it was.
Squash or squash, and we're using the acorn squash today, but you really can utilize any squash that you like. Spaghetti squash would be good with this. Almost make it like a carb-free spaghetti dinner that way. Yeah. You know?
And we're gonna leave enough around the outside so you have some too with like the little bowl.
Right, exactly. So we're gonna, in other words, we're using the squash itself as the serving utensil.
Some roasted tomatoes. These are like my favorite ever. And then the cool thing is you have the sweet, we have the, you know, roasted tomatoes with their flavors, and then we're gonna grate the Beamster XO extra aged cheese over top. And
it just fantastic.
Oh, it just brings it all together. And this is a nice vegetarian dish, or you can add chicken or whatever you want. When I do it with zucchini, I usually add chicken. I don't know why, but zucchini isn't as sweet and flavorful, I don't feel like, as the squash. The
zucchini is very much a vegetable, whereas the squash has like that meatiness to it. Like you don't feel like you need more when you're eating squash. That's what's really nice about it.
So
I gotta be honest, I feel naked without my tongs. I don't know how to cook without my tongs.
What happened to your tongs?
I don't know, you clean them.
So we're ready to stuff our squash. And the good thing to remember is you don't want to overcook the vegetables.
Right.
Because you still want them to be crunchy and full of flavor and everything like that.
Yeah, you don't want to kill the nutritional value of that vegetable.
Well, that's true too. And the thing is, like after you roast the squash, it's a matter of minutes to finish this dish.
Yeah, great. This doesn't have to go back into that's a long piece of kale. It doesn't have to go back into the oven, but it could if you'd like.
You could. We didn't want that, or I didn't want that crusted cheese look. We're just gonna grate it over top and have a light coating. But if you want the crusted cheese look, you could definitely put it back in.
Right. And these shells are such a great serviceware, right?
Oh, so cute.
It's a good look. Plus,
they're like a perfect acorn.
plus it's just you know, there's more meat there to eat, right?
Yeah.
The squash meat.
All right, so let's get our cheese.
It's a big hunk of cheese.
It's all right. All right, so we're just gonna grate our cheese over. So yes, this is the Beamster XO cheese, and it's their extra aged cheese.
So good.
It's so delicious. It has those nutty, sweet flavors. I love it with vegetables, especially
I can see
like a
that.
squash.
Jeez.
What? It's gorgeous. So you ready to try it?
Absolutely, I love squash.
Really good. Thank you so much for joining us today, and don't forget to subscribe.
And share with your friends.